Hello, this is Jasmine from Tutors 11 Plus. Today we're going to be taking you through equivalent fractions. This follows on from the video Introduction to Fractions. Let's take a look together. Equivalent fractions. Let's have a quick recap on fractions, following our earlier video on Introduction to Fractions. A fraction is a portion of a whole. Here we can see 3/4 is written as a fraction. Now, the number at the top is the numerator. This tells you how many portions or equal parts we have. So, for example, here we have 3 equal portions out of a possible 4. The number at the bottom is the denominator. This tells you how many equal-sized parts the whole was split into. So in this example, the whole was split into 4 equal parts. Remember, a fraction is a portion of a whole. Equivalent fractions have the exact same value. So to be equivalent means to be the same. So this is why we call them equivalent fractions. They are the same value, the exact same value, in fact. So here we can see a bar, which is split into 2. We have 2 equal pieces with one side shaded. So we can say that 1/2 is shaded. Now we can see another bar underneath, split into 4 equal pieces. We can see there are 2 pieces which are shaded. So we can say that 2/4 of this bar is shaded. As both the shaded parts are the same or equal, we can say that 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4 or 2/4. And we can see that very clearly here. The 1/2 at the top is the exact same size as the 2/4 underneath. So 1/2 is equal to 2/4. Now, when we simplify a fraction, we write it using lowest terms. This means using the smallest numbers possible. So in this example, we would write 1/2 or 1/2. Let's have a look at some equivalent fraction examples. So we can say that 1/4 is the same or equivalent to 2/8. And let me show you on a diagram why that is the case. So we can have a bar here which is split into 4 equal pieces. And I have another one underneath which is split into 8 equal pieces. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can shade the first one. So 1/4 is shaded. And the second one, I can shade in 2 of the bars so that 2/8 are shaded. You can see here very clearly that this is the same size as this. So 1/4 is the same or equivalent to 2/8. Let's look at a second example. We can look at 2/3 and 4/6. Let's draw another bar. So the first bar is split into 3 equal pieces. And the second bar is split into 6 equal pieces. 4, 5, 6. Now I can shade the first one So we have 2/3, which are shaded. And the second one I can shade so that 4/6 is shaded. And again, we can see here very clearly that this 2/3 here is exactly the same size or equivalent to these 4/6 here. So we can say that 2/3 is equal to or equivalent to 4/6. How do we get equivalent fractions, or how do we check if fractions are equivalent? We can multiply or divide the top and bottom of a fraction by the same number to get an equivalent fraction. So let's look at some examples. Example 1 is using multiplication. We have 2/6 here, and let's find an equivalent fraction for this using multiplication. So we will multiply the top or the numerator by 2, and we will also multiply the bottom number or the denominator by 2. It's very important to know here and to remember that whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. You have to follow the exact same rule. So in this one, we are multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 6 times 2 is 12. So 2/6 is equal to 4/12. And if we look at this bar on the right, which is split into 6, the first 2 pieces are shaded. So that is 2/6. Underneath we have another bar which is split into 12. And I've shaded the first 4 pieces. And we can see that the 4 pieces of the 4/12 is equivalent or the same as 2/6. Now, example 2 uses division. So we can get equivalent fractions by dividing. So let's take 2/10. And we will find an equivalent fraction by dividing by 2. So we're going to divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 2/10 is equivalent or the same as 1/5. Looking at the bars, I have a bar split into 10 equal pieces where the first 2 pieces are shaded. That's 2/10 is shaded. And underneath another bar of the same size, but it's split into 5. And the first piece is shaded. And you can see that 1/5 of that bar is shaded, and that 1/5 is exactly the same size as the 2/10. They are equivalent fractions. Now remember, we can only use multiply or divide. We cannot use addition and subtraction to find equivalent fractions. That's a very important point to note. Let's look at this question. Let's find the fractions equivalent to 4/24, which have denominators of A6 and B12. So let's look at A first. 4/24 equals something over 6. So what did we do to the 24 to get to 6? We divided this by 4. So whatever we do to the denominator, remember, we have to do to the numerator. So 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. Therefore, the equivalent fraction for 4/24 with the denominator of 6 is 1/6. Now, let's do the same for part B. 4/24 equals something over 12. What did we do to 24 to get to 12? We divided this by 2. And what we did to the denominator, we will do to the numerator. So 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. So 1/6 and 2/12 are both equivalent fractions to 4/24. Now what if I said which of these is in its simplest terms? I think it's clear to us that it is going to be this 1/6. Why is that? Because it cannot be put any lower. 1 is the lowest number you can have as a numerator. So this is how we work out equivalent fractions. And that's the end of our video on equivalent fractions. Thanks for watching. Make sure you keep practicing, because remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get.